one of the go-to dishes for most of the chicken lovers. There are several varieties of biryanis, and today I am going to share a special biryani recipe. This is Mughalai chicken dum biryani. The recipe without waiting. So for the Mughal chicken dum biryani, I've taken 2 kilos of chicken pieces. You can see they've been cut up into nice large size. This is a nice biryani cut. You don't want the pieces to be too small. So now the first step is in the marination. We're going to marinate the chicken pieces, and I have all the ingredients that go into the marinade here. Make sure you follow this correctly. We're going to start with, I've taken the juice of 3 small lemons, 3 tablespoons of ginger garlic paste. So I've taken about 300 grams of curd, 3 teaspoons of salt. So you can adjust the salt according to the quantity of chicken that you're taking. So first I'm going to mix the chicken pieces with these ingredients. Next I'm going to add all the spice powders, starting with turmeric powder 1 teaspoon, 4 teaspoons of chili powder, 1 teaspoon pepper powder, about 3 teaspoons of coriander powder, about 3 teaspoons of cumin powder, about 2 teaspoons of garam masala powder. So next mix all this along with the chicken pieces, just rub it in. So the reason why I'm mixing everything in steps is just to make sure that the chicken pieces are all coated well with the masala. So if you do this step by step, it will be easier. Next I'm adding a few pieces of cinnamon, about 12 cloves, about 7 green cardamom, 3 black cardamom, about 3 pieces of maize, we call this javitri, 3 star anise, 3 pieces of Marathi mocha, 1.5 teaspoons of shahi jeera, about 3 bay leaves, I'm adding 2 tablespoons of the onion fried oil because this is going to give you a lot more flavor, 2 tablespoons of ghee, about 4 large green chilies cut up. Next I'm adding a large bowl of fried onions. So you make sure you fry the onions nice and crisp like this. So we'll need a lot of these. So I've added 1 bowl. So it's going to give you a nice flavor to the meat. So just adding a small bunch of mint leaves. So for me biryani, I think the mint and coriander is very essential. It adds a lot of flavor. So it's very essential that you massage the chicken nicely with all this masala because the chicken pieces have to absorb all these flavors. Like I said earlier, the key is in the marination. So we will continue to add a few more ingredients. So I'm adding about 2 tablespoons of fresh cream. So this is going to make the dish all the more richer. Next add a little saffron milk along with the saffron strands. I'll add 1/4 cup of sliced almonds, that is badam, about 1/4 cup of chopped cashew nuts and 1/4 cup of chopped pistachios. Now this is going to make the biryani and the flavors of the biryani all the more richer. Let me remind you, we are doing Mughal Biryani. So it's a very nice royal biryani with all these beautiful flavors. Wow, you can see the marinade, how rich it is and how beautifully it's coating all the pieces. Close the bowl and let it sit for at least about 2 hours. Now 2 hours is a minimum, but you can actually let it marinate for more than about 3 to 4 hours. You can leave it overnight. So it's up to you and your convenience. For this recipe, I've taken 1 kilo of whole grain basmati rice. Wash it a few times, pour enough water and soak it for 1 hour. I'm boiling a big pot of water to cook the rice. So to the hot water, I'm going to add some ingredients starting with cinnamon, a few cloves, about 5 cardamom, 2 star anise, 2 bay leaves, 1 teaspoon shahi jeera, some coriander leaves, some mint leaves. Now we're just going to boil this for a few minutes to get all the flavors into the water. So I'm just going to close this. Make sure you add the rice after about 2 to 3 minutes of adding all the whole spices. Add the rice little at a time. So once you've added all the rice, I'm going to add about 3 teaspoons of salt, the juice of 1 small lemon. So the lemon juice will prevent the rice from breaking off easily and it will also make it nice and fluffy. So gently mix the rice and let this cook. Now we are going to cook the rice in 2 parts, meaning first when the rice is cooked for about 60%, we'll have to remove some of the rice and keep it aside because we're going to keep this in dum. When the rice is cooked just about 60%, it will be a little crunchy actually when you bite it or when you break it. So that's a nice indication that the rice is cooked to about 60%. Continue boiling the rice, and once the remaining rice is cooked to about 80%, remove it from the water, strain it and keep it aside. Once the rice is cooked at about 60%, remove some of it and keep it aside. So you can see it's just a little bit harder, it just breaks off. So this is the consistency that you want to remove some of the rice, and the remaining rice you remove once it's cooked about 80%, because we're going to keep it in dum and the rice will cook completely in dum. You don't want to overcook the rice. This is something that you should do when you are cooking the rice. So we are in the final step of making this beautiful biryani. Next, I'm placing a large pot on the tawa. To this, add about 2 tablespoons of ghee, 2 tablespoons of the onion fried oil. So after a few minutes, you can see the pot is just heating up very slowly. Now gently start adding the marinated chicken pieces into the pot. Make sure you maintain the flame on a high while cooking on the tawa. Close the pot for a few minutes, about 2 to 3 minutes, just to get the heat going. The chicken pieces are gradually heating up and they're beginning to cook. You can see the color change. So the first layer of rice is the 60% cooked rice. First I'm adding that. Just spread it out evenly. Add a few fried onions, a few coriander leaves, a few mint leaves, add a teaspoon of ghee. Now add some saffron water. So this will give you a nice color to the biryani. So now I'm adding the second layer of rice. This is the 80% cooked rice. Add all of it and spread it out evenly. Add about 2 teaspoons of ghee. Add a few teaspoons of the saffron water on top. Top it off with some fried onions. Add a few coriander leaves and a few mint leaves. Cover the pot with a foil paper. If you don't have foil paper, you just make some dough and stick it on the edge of the pot to seal it. Continue to maintain the flame on a high. Place the lid on top of the pot. Now we're going to leave this on dum for at least 45 minutes. After 45 minutes, I can't wait to open this pot and check out the biryani. To remove the foil from the top, you can see that steam and this aroma is just incredible. I cannot explain to you how amazing this is. Guys, you have to try and make this biryani. Oh my god, just look at this amazing Mughal Dum Biryani. Oh god, look at the chicken is cooked beautifully. It's so soft and so tender. So you don't want to break the rice. So before serving, just gradually mix it. Not too much, just take it from the bottom and you can serve it. Wow, look at the color and the texture of that biryani. The rice is cooked perfectly and the chicken pieces are so soft and tender. The aroma is just incredible. So I'm serving it with some rice raita and eggs by the side. This is a must-try recipe, guys, and I've showed you all the steps as to how to make it. I'm sure you guys will enjoy it. It's an absolute feast for everybody in your family. This is a great biryani to try for any special occasions, for get-togethers, for dinners. So you can see how soft the pieces are. It's cooked perfectly on the inside.